Alright, I think we're good. I'm never too sure with this one, but we'll see. Yep, there I am. I always double check. Hi everyone. I'm McDices, and this is Silent Hill 2. It's a classic game, been done many a times. I know Punchy's done some great runs before me. This is going to be an introduction to something called hard mode, which is a little bit different. Before I begin, though, I'm going to have to reboot the game from kind of like a fresh start. But before that, I will just ask, are we doing normal or plank only?
We are doing normal, I'm afraid.
Alright, all good. Alright, so I'm going to exit the game right now because since the run has been last shown, we have a new trick called RNG manipulation. That is going to allow me to know all the random RNG in this game, and also gives me some time to kind of get the right settings on this game because it's kind of weird sometimes. Alright, so you'll see the game boot up. I can't touch anything right now, but it'll be all good, and we're going to go new game. There, perfect. And let's go. Time's ready to begin. As well, during this run, I'm going to be grabbing a few of the extra items because there is currently a bid war for both a UFO and dog ending. So kind of to start into things, Silent Hill 2 is a classic game-saved game. We're going to be doing a lot of game saving to break the game in various ways. The classic is to kind of just skip grabbing the map so we can just go down here and begin the run. But the first run is going to be about a 5-minute trek into the town of Silent Hill. If you're wondering what game saved is, if you do not know the game saved meme or the classic about this run, it means that every time I'm saving the game, I'm regenerating James's stamina, so he's always running at 100%. If you don't have text on the screen, he'll eventually drop down to slower and slower speeds, so he's kind of going like very slow as a jog, and we don't want that, so you'll be seeing game save constantly. Also, just as a fun little quirk, behind me is actually a game saved poster, because I took it home a while back from one of the events that this was at. But I always like showing that off, because, well, they let me keep it. So it's kind of funny. Going into this, though, hard mode is going to be a bit different than what you're normally used to with Silent Hills. Previously, the showings of this game have been normal, any percent. Normal is you fight the boss fights on a standard normal difficulty, nothing too hard. Any percent, they all die in one shot. On hard mode, these bosses hit hard. These riddles hit hard. All the riddles will be different and harder, and the bosses are also more difficult. The riddles actually aren't that much more difficult, but there are some little nuances in between. As well, since this is a marathon showing, I'm going to be picking up this chainsaw for a fun Easter egg. We're not going to be using it once, but I will be showing it for a fun little quirk later on. That being said, we're almost in the main area of Silent Hill. We're going to be hitting our first major glitch, I would say. If anyone's also wondering why does this work as a thing, well, when Silent Hill 2 got a PC port, it was a bit rushed on that port. So as a result, they wanted to add things that PC gamers enjoy. These are a quick save and a quick load feature. Now, the quick save wasn't exactly tested all that much because it had to be rushed due to Konami wanting things, so it interacts a bit weirdly with the game, as we already know with the stamina. However, there's more that it can do, and it's going to help me quite a lot. And that's known with the "there's no reason to go back, I'm going to look for Mary" glitch. What we're doing with this is I'm holding text on the screen, because this is going to put the game in a quote-unquote stasis. The stasis is going to prevent anything in the game from spawning in. This includes weapons, items, background objects, and it also includes cutscene triggers because watching certain cutscenes will lead me down a path that wastes about 2 minutes. So this is about a 2-minute time save that is going to be quite nice for skipping the first major fight of the game that would actually be done in plank only hard mode, because that's how you get the plank and you have to also fight a guy. But we're skipping the plank entirely because we don't want to do that. That being said, while I'm doing this glitch, if you have anything you would like to read, feel free to go for it.
Absolutely, thank you very much. We have a $25 donation from Quinn Plays who says, Eck, you rock, have a great run. And a $50 donation from Juhorse says, GDQX 2018 dog, AGDQ 2019 dog, it's UFO this time, baby. Oh wait, I meant to say dog ending. Thank you very much.
I'm a bit biased towards UFO, by the way, if anyone wants to know my choice, but I know dog is adorable and everyone loves the dog, so we might be doing dog. Anyway, that blood I just passed is the thing we actually end up skipping. If you walk up to that blood, you'll get a cutscene where he's like, blood? And then he just walks towards it, because that's what smart people do. Anyway, you know what else smart people do? Magic tricks. James is going to summon a car to thin air. Like that. So by doing that, I've just reloaded the game back into action. I have to do that because in the back of this alley, there is going to be the apartment key, which is going to set us up for the first dungeon or level of sorts. I never know what to really call these things because, like, on the one hand, it's like an apartment complex, it's a building, but on the other hand, it would technically be like a level, wouldn't it? It would be like a dungeon. I guess I never really know, but different people have different names. It's the first major area of the game. As well, to show off a fun difference, I'm going to be grabbing a lot more health, because we're going to need a lot of it. And as well, there's another little game save glitch that does occur thanks to hard mode. A lot of people who run this game do this unknowingly, but on hard mode, it's going to be mandatory indoors to be game saving. Normally, this is just to regenerate stamina, but once we're inside, things will change just a little bit. Because on hard mode, a new quirk gets added to the game, and that quirk is tripping. Everyone's favorite. Right now, we're almost inside the apartments, and I'll kind of demonstrate what tripping means. There we go. And not too bad. Not too bad so far. So now that we're inside the apartments, I'm going to continue grabbing more health. But you'll notice if you just start kind of running up and like you try mashing to the door, James will do a little trip. Like that. That trip is exclusive to hard mode, and to avoid doing that trip, I'm going to be saving the game, because this just prevents it from happening. He forgets that tripping is a thing if you keep saving the game and then enter doors. It changes so it is actually a tech you have to do. As well, we're grabbing the flashlight, because this is mandatory in order to progress through the game, and pick up items. In addition, I should mention, there are going to be more enemies scattered apart each level, and they're going to be much more aggressive. These enemies are not going to be happy with me. And this time when I enter the door, you're going to notice I don't trip, and that is because I saved the game. An enemy will spawn here if I talk to Laura first, so we want to make sure we get the gun first. The gun is mandatory because, one, it's going to help us out with the first boss, and two, and more importantly, you can't actually beat the game at all unless you get the gun. Even in other difficulties where you're not supposed to use other weapons, you still have to grab the handgun because the game won't let you not do it. So make sure you grab it. And right now, we're going to be talking to Laura. I'm also going to be equipping a gun because this is going to allow me to do another minor skip. The apartments is always a weird level to me too, because it's really confusing, albeit small. So, like, I remember when I played this casually, I ended up dropping the game on the apartments, and then people bullied me into playing it again. And I love the game, don't get me wrong, but the apartments was definitely a weird level to start off on. Anyway, minor skip, I'm going to make this guy red. I reloaded the level, and we've skipped that little screen that distracts us. Now we get this key, and we're going to be using this key to grab another key, which is the clock key. I mentioned at the beginning of the run, I'm doing a new tech, or trick called RNG manipulation. RNG manipulation is going to allow me to bypass every single random puzzle. For those of you who know a thing or two about Silent Hill 2, you may remember that there is the blind arsonist, there's a briefcase puzzle that is a 1 in 19 chance of getting the right word. I'm going to know all the answers to these puzzles ahead of time, and I no longer have to worry, because now I'll just know. And that is part of the magic of a new manipulation that a guy called Silent Hill 2 Luck has found. When it actually got found, it was during one of my streams, and I was just playing the game normally, finding the numbers, and the dude predicted a 4-digit random number in front of me, and I was actually kind of more afraid than I am when I play horror games, so kind of food for thought. Anyway, right now we're at 10:03 roughly, so that's a good sign. It's also really good luck because the answer is always 9:10. The closer you are to 9:10, the better it is. Remember 10:03 though, because that's going to come in handy later. I said that number, so it must be important. I'll actually be using one of the upcoming cutscenes to memorize that. As well, in hard mode, we have ammo routing that we have to pay attention to. The first set of handing bolts will be right here. We need to grab one more extra than we do in normal, because we're going to need all of these. We're going to need enough to fight Pyramid Head. On this door coming up, we'll be getting a very interesting cutscene where Pyramid Head's having a blast. I'm going to do some studying. I said 10:03. This is a little bit late, so let's see what I got. Looks like I'm on seed 37. So just keep that in mind for right now. We have 37. I don't see any other seeds with this, so that's a good indication. Cool. So with the seed 37 in mind, I can now progress to the game, and that will come in handy later. I have a chart of RNG tables that is going to allow me to be used later, and with those tables, I will know exactly what I'll have. So ideally, if I did everything correctly, the answer to the boxes later are going to be 6474 and 8518, which you can count those now and I guess clip me on saying that, because if I predicted this right, you'll see about maybe, I don't know, 10 or so minutes later, I'll be guessing a random combination using those. Right now as well, we're going to be hitting everyone's favorite puzzle, which is a random can of juices. You always have to wonder, like, what kind of juice is this in the back? Especially since this is like one of those old horror games, they had like weird puzzles and weird solutions. I always like to think it's tomato, but everyone tells me I'm wrong and tells me it's like apple or something. But I'm a big tomato stan. I like tomato. Tomato's a good one. Tomato's a very, very good one. Also, I'm going to move over slightly to show off the game saved sign. I'm a big fan of game saving. Also, in case anyone's wondering as well, the flag behind me is a French flag. I'm not French. I'm absolutely an American guy. I like France, so I have a French flag. So now that we've used the juice to drop down, we are now able to get a coin. The main puzzle for the apartments is actually based on coins. Whenever I play any game, I always like thinking, what is the overarching thing I'm doing? And the overarching apartment goal is to get 3 coins for a key. Right now, once I actually grab the coin, I'll be mashing game saved and confirm so I can run during the little load there. It's a thing that saves a minor amount of time, and while you do have to run in the dark, it is much faster. Difference on hard mode as well is a weird optimization doesn't exist, which is animation canceling. Normally, you can animation cancel this, but it won't let you for some reason on hard mode. You just have to take the fall. As well, I'm going to play a bit more safe around these guys. I usually eat 1 hit, and that's okay. They're much more aggressive on hard mode. But we got our first coin. As well, now we'll be going to the next area and the next part of ammo routing. So, if you've ever played Silent Hill 2, you know our favorite character is coming up. He's a very cool guy. I would say he is the big attractive point of the run. It's a very attractive cutscene, as you may witness here. It is extremely attractive, in fact. It's Eddie's butt crack, which is always enjoyable. Either way, you have to talk to him, because if you don't, you can't actually go through the next door, even if you have the key. It just sort of goes like, the door is held by a mysterious force, and that mysterious force is apparently Eddie's butt. So, I guess that's the most powerful deity in Silent Hill when you think about it. That being said, now that we have 2 coins and the key, we can now go to the second half of the apartments. It's really weird because the second half of the apartments is really short. When you play this normally, it's not short. It takes a while, actually, when you get here. However, there are maybe about 4 to 5 rooms you actually have to enter, and one of them is this one. Not counting the hallways, anyway. So, the reason why I need more ammo is because, like I mentioned, a lot of the enemies are more dangerous and have more health. So Pyramid Head is going to have to take more damage in order to end the fight. Alternatively, I could run around for 5 minutes and just try to time him out. However, that's not a very entertaining way of fighting him, is it? We're going to grab these handgun bullets, and we're also going to talk to Angela. I always love the scene, but we don't have enough time to enjoy Angela, so we're just going to get this coin and leave the room. And now that I got all the coins, we can now enter the next room. Here we go. And this puzzle changes as well, because now in hard mode, the order is, not blue gem, the order is going to be gold first on the 5th side, so gold 5. I'm also pausing between these to let my inventory come up faster. We have silver 2, which is coincidentally also my league rank. And then we also have snake 4. There we go. And now we get the house key. As well, just to make sure we're playing this nice and safe, I'm going to be grabbing a health kit, and we'll be going over here. All these health kits are for late game bosses, by the way. I don't grab any health for Pyramid Head normally, because if you're taking damage, you're dead. So I am going to make a safety save here, by the way, because I'm very worried. Hey, I got the random whispers. It's like a 30% chance of happening, but it always happens to me during marathons, so I guess I'm very lucky, and that's a good indication that this run won't fail. And that was our last handgun bullet. With the final key, we can now get to the boss, and I'm going to have to dodge a couple of dudes. I'm also going to make a quick save right before this, just in case I mess up. Okay, so a strategy here is a bit different than it is on any percent. I'm going to walk into him and unload every bullet. Oh, hold on, I actually need to... Oh, God. Oh, God. Here we go. I need to fix my headset, because this is important. By walking into him, he's not going to attack me, and he will kind of just eat every single hit. He also won't be able to even, like, attempt to move forward. After the 4th reload, I'm going to hear as like a boat horn, and to hear that, you have to run. You need to run. Alright, good fight, and you run. That overhead swing is a one-shot. At this point, Pyramid Head's now walking away. After walking about 50 or so bullets into him, he is now dead, and that was a perfect Pyramid Head fight, by the way. Not a single tick of damage, and now he is down the stairs. And now I can laugh at him. As well, a fun little thing, here's an Easter egg that you may enjoy. Anyone ever watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? That's the whole reason why I got the chainsaw, by the way. Also, I'm really happy I did that because I just remembered, and that's the only time you're really going to show it. Alright, and that is the apartments. With that, since this is a marathon, we're going to play this much safer. There's a health kit back here. Again, I really don't want to mess this up because the final boss is insane. It's very difficult, and I really want to stress that. Like, I know that's going to be like maybe 40 or 50 minutes from now, but it's very important to stress how hard it really is. As well, I'm going to show off a really wacky glitch that happens in the PC version. So we're going to be just running, and this is Rosewater Park. James! James, where are you going? This is that park, but James! James! Oh god, the screen broke. That's not good. So if you just keep game saving and running forward, James will just infinitely run, and if you go fast enough, the screen will just start kind of breaking, and it's just kind of silly. Ideally, you just want to skip it because you can see where you're going, but I always like showing it off because it's funny. As well, I learned that it's actually a speed thing because I've done a run of this recently, which was Great Knife only, which requires you to run through the entire game using only the Great Knife, which makes you walk to a crawl. It's very slow, but it's hilarious, and it was a fun time doing that, and I found a couple things that just are based on speed and not by, like, timing, and that is one of them. As well, since we do have the UFO dog bid war, I am grabbing the dog key as well as the UFO gem. I'm going to be using both of these throughout the run, but I'm going to be making a save at the end for the bid war. So I just want to shoot a reminder on that one as well. Speaking of which, what's currently winning for that?
Currently winning is Dog with $75, next to UFO with $40.
Alright. We're going to be pretty much open until the end of the run because we don't have to make that decision until later. As well, I just grabbed a pipe because that pipe is going to prevent soft locking later in the game. You need a melee weapon. If you do not have it, you'll die. Pretty much alone in a well, and that is quite sad. On this little hallway, I'm going to be doing one game saved because I don't want to bump into this wall. And right now, it is time, as always, to watch the greatest cutscene in the game. Also, I just love this song.
Eddie? Oh. You're James.
I always just love that he has a pizza.
Met in the apartment building?
It's a mood.
Yeah, I remember. But,
Are you alone here, Eddie?
no.
Do you think Eddie could eat that entire pizza in one sitting? I feel like Papa John.
Wait! Come back! Eddie, let's go after her.
Huh? Laura? But why?
Laura. Is that her name?
That's what she said.
This town is full of monsters. How can you sit there and eat pizza?
She said she was fine by herself. She said a fatso like me would just slow her down.
Forget you.
I just want to say that Eddie is in an eternal mood. I'm pretty sure if I was in the same situation with a killer town of monsters, I would entirely just wolf down an entire pizza. Anyway, with that, we've let Laura out of the bowling alley, so we can now move forward. We're going to be going through a few buildings to catch up to Laura, and Heaven's Night, which is probably the coolest area of the game. You're in for maybe about, like, 20 seconds max. But I always do like how Eddie just has the pizza. It's a fun theory many people talk about. I always mention, during any run, that Eddie's pizza is actually a boss fight for Eddie, because every single person who goes to Silent Hill has their own different variation of monsters. Eddie's are all just based on food. And again, a very relatable character to all of us. I always love the Heaven's Night music too, and while we're here, we're actually going to be grabbing an extra health kit, because this health kit is going to allow me to have more health later on. And with that, we just have to run over to the hospital. So that being said, if you have anything you'd like to plug, feel free to go for it.
Absolutely, thank you very much. We have a $35 donation from I Am Greaser, who says, off, 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 about 13 more offs, and then says, this goes towards UFO ending.
Hey!
So remember, chat, there is only $35 between dog and UFO, so get your donations in and you can influence the ending of this game.
It's getting close. It is getting close. If you got about one more, feel free to go for it. If not, I can talk.
You go for it.
Cool. Alright, so earlier I said something about 37. That is about to get cashed in, like I mentioned. So, the main goal of the hospital is there is something called the 4-lock box. It is a box with 4 locks. 2 of these locks are numbers. Also, I'm going to do a quick juke. Whee! If you do that little loop-de-loop, she won't hit you, and it's funny just to go watch James do that kind of turn. As well, we're grabbing a needle and a shotgun there, because the shotgun is going to be our best friend for a while. It is probably one of the greatest weapons in this game. I should also mention that that nurse is very aggressive. We're going to be grabbing more ammo and another key. And as well, I actually don't need the health in there, so we're going to ignore that room entirely. In the past, you would go in there to look at numbers, but I don't need numbers. I don't need to study my numbers. If I get this wrong, by the way, it's going to be hilarious. First things first, though. This is always the same answer. On hard mode, it's a T, so 1, 3, 2, 8. Since I know it's seed 37, that number is going to be 8518. And then the next number is going to be 6474. So Maria's going to rest off a hangover. We don't want to look at her. So we're going to go up to the roof. Funny enough, Maria is actually based on a combination of Christina Aguilera and Cameron Diaz. So I guess just weird fun fact on that they used the girl from Shrek to be in the Silent Hill 2. Actually, I don't know if that's entirely accurate, because I think Shrek may have came out after Silent Hill 2. Either way, Pyramid Head's going to bash me. And the two numbers, like once again I mentioned, are 6474, which we'll be getting in a moment, and 8518, if I did this correctly, which I hope I did. As well, I'm going to swap over to the shotgun, I'm going to heal, and we're going to be very careful. I want to make sure that I avoid the nurses, because I do not want to eat a hit. I ate a hit. That's alright. Juke this one. Alright, I'm going to get a weird weave later on, not because there's more nurses here and they're way more aggressive. So, we're going to be using our first 2 keys on this. If I got this right... Oh, hold on. If I got this right, it'll look great. If I got this wrong, I'm going to have to do the walk of shame. So let's hope I didn't get this wrong. Okay, so mind reading. 6474. 6474. Magic trick. Alright, 8518. Never looked at these numbers once. These numbers are in other rooms, and they are 4-digit random numbers. Thanks to RNG manipulation, I now know I'm officially on seed 37. Alright, as well, this is pretty good RNG. The nurses are cooperating, so I can avoid them. And now I can go back to this room. Oh, wait, where's my... There they are. Our piece of hair. The magic of hair. That's what we got out of the box. Eating that hits fine, as long as I don't need another one. We can heal in a brief moment. Also, I'd have the chainsaw out. We don't use this. That was slow. Let me swap over to the shotgun. But yes, RNG manipulation is now guaranteed to be seed 37. So I'm going to have 5th arsonist and the word open. I need the shotgun out. Thank you. And we're healing. So first things first, on hard mode, we want to make sure we get additional ammo. And this is probably my favorite boss in the game. I'm going to make a quick save here, because I'm doing this before every boss. And yes, I did not have the walk of shame for you all. I hope you're proud of me that we did not have to do the walk of shame to find those numbers. That would have been really sad. Okay, boss time. We're going to be fighting flesh lips. The whole goal, you want to shoot them on their feet. These are body shots I'm landing. I want to make sure I'm getting close enough, and it'll be anywhere from 4 to 6 shots. 4 is ideal, 5 is okay, and 6 is a bit rough. I got smacked. One more out of... Ooh, we're still alive. Ooh, this bad. Alright, you're dead. We're gonna reload. So on hard mode, normally this would take about, let's say... On like, or let's say normal, it would be about 3 to 6, 3 to 5 shots. 90% everything dies in 1 shot. Hard mode, you have to be way more careful, and you have to space and time your shots. If you retaliate, you do more damage, and if you get closer, you also do more damage. So I'm making sure I keep my distance while at the same time keeping watch. The next one now spawns, and we are going to pop it full of lead. I'm waiting for it to get close so I can get these bullets off. These have been pretty rough fights altogether, but nothing too heinous. I'm also making sure I dodge the feet swings, because feet swings are not good. This will probably be a 5-shot. Yep. And that was a good flesh lips fight. Very nice. And since we do have the incentive, I'll be playing this. Just in case. Some spooky stuff is going around this town. There's a faint UFO in the distance. What could that mean? I'm also going to be grabbing shotgun shells right here for later, because they are quite nice to have, and we're going to need more and more. Now we will be going up, and the whole goal of this area is to get some special things. I do want to keep in mind that the UFO dog ending is not decided, but there are some extra cutscenes that we can show off in the early means because we have to do them in order to get the UFO ending prepared. We're preparing both during this. We're going to be grabbing first aid kit here for safety, and we're going to be grabbing the basement key. So now they're in the Otherworld Hospital, which means everything's now green and spooky and covered in mold. You see, normally it's all rust, but in Silent Hill 2 it's all mold because it looks really cool. But we're going to be going up to go down. So the basement's on the 3rd floor. It's really strange in this hospital. As well, you may have noticed that I am constantly turning off the light in these hallways. The reason why is because the nurses are aggroed by lights. If you run into a nurse with lights, that is not good. You will end up getting swung at, which is very bad. It's especially bad because when Maria shows up, the nurses can attack Maria. If she sustains too much damage, she will die. And having Maria, or Christina Aguilera, Cameron Diaz's friend, die is not very good. As well, shotgun shells right here. We'll need those later. Shotgun shells are partly needed, and they're also a backup tool. We're going to need a lot of bullets, because late game, there's going to be a lot of damage sponges, and we need to be aware of that. And commonly, I should mention, every single dungeon, quote-unquote, in this game has the different bosses, and this level is no different. There's a boss at the end of this, but the way we're going to deal with it is going to be interesting, and I'll elaborate more on that when we actually get there. As well, I'm making sure I kind of position myself properly around the nurses because I don't want them swinging at me, so I do take minor delays. We're skipping this cutscene because it's the only one in the game, like, one of like 4 or 5 that counts in-game time for some reason. So if you play that cutscene out, you lose time. Any other cutscene is fine. That one, you lose time. And now we need big, strong Maria to help us open this fridge. With that, we get a ring. Unfortunately, lead is not in her taste, so we now have 2 rings because we're beautiful. Are very pretty here, and that's why we have 2 rings. Oh god, the nurses, what are they doing? They've ganged up on the elevator. They knew our escape, and that's not a good time. Okay, we're going to be using the 2 rings we picked up now on this door. This door is very lovely, and to complete a fashion statement, it needs 2 rings. Okay. So right now, at the end of these stairs, we're going to be fighting probably the hardest section of hard mode. It is going to be the Pyramid Head chase scene. If Maria dies, you die, so don't mess it up. I'm sure nothing weird will happen. Oh, I may have that mess it up? Hold on. Yeah, it's bad. Hold on. So I'm going to be doing a skip instead because it's hard as hell. Might take me a couple tries. I want to carry over the game's saved menu into this next room. No? Game saved. Got it. So I've bugged out game saved so I can continue to hold text during this, and now Pyramid Head won't spawn. Preventing Pyramid Head spawn, I don't have to worry about the chase, and Maria won't die instantly. This is a very hard hallway, so doing the skip is imperative to hard mode. This is also a skip that is exclusive to hard mode and other meme categories that require you to avoid Pyramid Heads. As well, it does some interesting bugging to this cutscene right here. So this would be a really sad moment, but Save anywhere. Name undecided. Forrest. Oh no, she's dead. What was her name again? Parking lot. Parking lot is dead, chat. Parking lot is dead. And now we get sad music because we need a big F for parking lot. She's dead. That wasn't Maria. That was parking lot. But luckily for us, we lived. And it's just kind of a weird way that saving the game bugs that scene out. But we'll miss parking lot. We'll miss her dearly. I definitely don't think she'll be back at any moment in time. But we can no longer park during this run. And with that, it is the end of the hospital, and we are now entering Silent Hill. Also, another little fun thing, you can just run during this little cutscene. There are some cutscenes in the game that aren't actually cutscenes, they're more like just dialogue mashings, so you can just game save and run during them, and they save very minor amounts of time, but overall you still want to skip them instead because it'll be faster. As well, now that I'm here, I'm going to be picking up some additional health, which is the first aid kit and the health drink. I do want to mention as well that every time I've ran into a door, the game saving has been mandatory. Especially if you're coming in now, have not seen it just yet. There is tripping in this difficulty, so game saving is allowing me to prevent tripping on any item pickup, any door entry. Building up speed is pretty rough in this category, so it is imperative that game saving is done. It's also incredibly risky because you have to save it a lot. As well, you kind of end up with an obscene amount of game saves at the end of this with how much we deal. Normally I get roughly like mid-2000s, so I'm really hoping we get a high number. I can't remember what punch you got last time, but I always like doing the little challenge of trying to beat the game saved, because it's kind of funny to see who gets more game saves, and it's a friendly competition. That being said, though, we don't have anything too major going on right now, so if you'd like to read it or plug anything, feel free to go for it.
Certainly, we have two very important donations. We have a $25 donation from Hellblazer Hawk, who says $25 for the pizza law, thank you very much, and a $10.01 from XYT, who says, making a cheeky donation so we're up by a single cent, let's go UFO. Both of those put towards UFO, and UFO is now winning by 1. Thank you very much for your donations.
It's winning by 1 cent?
1 cent.
That's powerful. We have to get the 2 cents on dog ending now. Anyway, that extra health kit is going to allow me to live. As always, we'll see these in action later. I know it's weird that I'm picking up a bunch of stuff that we're not using, but those will come in handy, believe me. But I'm going to be doing a skip right now because it's too dark to read the map. In addition, there was a cutscene in the beginning of the game I skipped where James is like, hey, cool, blood, and went to go follow it. We didn't want to watch that because it's wasted 2 minutes. This way, I saved 2 minutes. However, it still exists. The difference, though, is now that it's dark, I can just say it's too dark to watch that cutscene. So, we can just skip it using that. You have to be very careful, though, because the radius on it is quite big, and you can accidentally break the game if you decide to do that. Luckily for marathons, there is an easy fix. However, doing this run casually, you can definitely mess up a run if you're not careful. You also need the wrench there. I did not get a great pickup, but that's still okay. It's very minor. You can pick it up with your knees if you're careful. And we'll do the same trick. It's too dark to read the map, to walk back, and now we get to run through the dark town of Silent Hill. In a moment, I will turn on the light so you can kind of see. I know, ideally, for optimizations, you want to keep the light off. But in a marathon, it doesn't make much sense to just watch a dark city with a guy with a green jacket running through it. It's just not very fitting. So we're going to run like this with lights on. And the enemies will mostly avoid me anyway. Funny enough, you can still do the same magic trick with summoning cars and such if you've deloaded them. But we don't need to do that again. And most of the enemies around here are going to be the nurses and the mannequins. The mannequins have feet for arms, which I always ask this question because I never know the answer. But if they have feet for feet for arms and hands, when they hit you, are they punching you or kicking you? Because those are their arms. But what makes it a punch? I don't actually know. I think they're kicking me because it's feet, but they're using their arms to do it. Food for thought, I suppose. As well, the Dark Roads usually has a pretty easy route. We're going to be taking a minor shortcut to skip a slight corner. and it's going to be through the little motel here. Funny enough, this is the one set piece along with the hospital that shares with Silent Hill 3. So you come back here during that game, which will be next, in fact. Silent Hill 3 will be a good run. It's a fun addition to the game, and I always love the Silent Hill 2 parts of Silent Hill 3. They're probably my favorite parts, because it's part of Silent Hill 2, which I love. And the big thing you have to do with the wrench is make sure you go to the park. This is ideally the worst part of the run, because, well, if you forget this, the game doesn't care. The game will let you run all the way down to the end. So, what's the problem with that? Well, if you never grab the key, when you get to the ending of this, the door will just say, "Doors locked," kind of like how Ray 2 does. But you'll have to do a 5-minute backtrack, and that is punishing amounts of time at that point. And it's never fun to get. Here we are. So I'm going to be running down into the final stretch, and the one thing I always like pointing out is the billboards, because this town has subtle advertising. Some of them are empty, but let's see, we're going to pass one right now. I think it says "Your ad here." And then my favorite one is the last one, because it is quite nice, but I'll read them as they come. It's also just a long run down the street. It kind of just goes on to show the descent of madness, or something to that effect, which is quite nice. Alright, there's the empty one. We're coming up on a nurse and some cars. Just make sure you juke them. The next one here is going to be "Your ad here," I believe. Now, I feel like a liar. I haven't seen it. There it is. "Your ad." And then the last one is my favorite. It means you're also getting closer and closer to being done with the roads. The roads is always the longest section. Quiet cocktails. It's a fun time to have quiet cocktails. Alright, and now we can just run into the door here, and we are good to go. And don't worry, I'm sure we have no more long running sections. We're definitely all out of long running sections. Unless there's some really long stairs that happen. I always wish, if I can borrow any trick from, Super Mario 64, it's the whole, backwards long jumping thing where you can just zoom stairs. It would be great to just zoom down the bottom of these stairs. Also, just fun trivia fact, the way they program these stairs is they're just really long. They just made really long stairs. They're not infinite, they're not, looped until a certain time. The stairs are just that long. So it's kind of interesting to watch James just march endlessly down the stairs as the boat horns continue. And I know a lot of people tend to go crazy on these stairs because they really are just that long. Alright, and that was roads. Now we're back in action. So, grabbing this health once again, and I'm going to be careful of the enemies coming up. We're going to have a couple, there's some roaches, and there's a guy in the back. I did a little trip, that's okay. And right now, we are going to get the pipe ready, because this is the pipe we had to grab earlier. I'm going to go right here on the wall, and we're just going to ram it about 2 to 3 times. That's pretty good, and that is what you have to do to prevent soft locking. When you're at the bottom of the well, if you can't break it, you are stuck there forever, and that is unfortunate. You will end up dying in the well with, I don't know, Sadeko or the ring or something to that equivalent. Samara. As well, we're going to be doing another minor skip. I'm game saving right when I'm picking up this object, and now this is the one quick load you're allowed to do. Only one. Only one quick load. You're allowed one quick load. That allows me to duplicate that key to skip the bug room keypad. It's an RNG puzzle of 3 digits, and you need to guess it. Funny enough, I actually do have the answer to that, and that is 434. However, it's still going to be faster to do it that way. So, the prison is a weird level because it's arguably one of the most important by far. We're going to have to gather 3 tablets to get a very special organization for this area. As well, just as a curiosity's sake, what is currently winning, Dog or UFL?
Well, currently, Dog is winning by $5.01.
Something tip it over recently, or?
Yes. Actually, hold that thought.
If you have any donations, feel free to read them.
Certainly. Nico Hart has donated $5.02 and says Bork, hence why Dog was up by $5.01. However, I Am Greaser has also donated $5.02, and has said, let's learn how to count with cents, and has put that towards UFO. So UFO is, I believe, up by either 1 or 2 cents right now.
It took the lead by 2 cents. Wait, 1 or 2 cents?
If 1 cent again.
Okay.
I've done accounting for 4 years, you'd think I would understand.
All good. Well, it's weird because the game actually captured my audio. This is me when I found out UFO was leading by 1 cent. Just a blood-curdling scream. Waiting for it. Anyway, now that we did that, we have the horseshoe and we can finally get out of the prison. Good timing. We have a bid war of 1 cent for that one. As well, we're going to be playing this safe, so gathering some extra resources. Here we are. There's a health kit in here, and I'm also going to be grabbing a lot of health. Luckily, there's a gun in the back we used to route in, but we don't actually need it anymore. And the hunting rifle is actually useless. I didn't know that. I always thought the hunting rifle was like the best weapon in the game. I am deeply mistaken. It is god-awful, and it is bad. What we do in here instead is I grab that, and I grab the ampule, and we're out. Because the help there is quite nice. And as well, we get to do my favorite weird puzzle in this game of using wax, a lighter, and a horseshoe to make a makeshift door handle for a trap door. And now we're at the bottom. And we're getting James's descent into madness, which I guess can also just be symbolic for something. But James is going to get tired of jumping down all these holes, so he'll simply opt to use the elevator instead. So, there's a bit of a tradition with Silent Hill runners and elevators during any marathon that has, I guess, a camera. But first I'm going to reload my weapons, because I need both my shotgun and my pistol reloaded for later. And I'm going to need my pistol out. But I'm going to take a selfie, and I'm going to post it on Twitter. And I'm going to tag ESA in it. So, let me, I'll get me and Chad in the selfie, so let's get ready. Let's go. We'll do this. We'll do the peace sign. Fuck, that is bright. Sorry about that. That's a terrible selfie. I'll get my French flag in the background. Why is my flash on? Wait a minute, this sucks. Who turned on flash? Okay, better. Hold on. Cool. And I'll post that on Twitter. Sorry about that. Let's see. Can I do it? Can I do it? I'll do it later in the run. Alright, that being said, we're now down the elevator. I don't know why my thing has internal flash, but my phone camera is weird. Anyway, now that we're down to the bottom of that, we are going to be stealing from Pyramid Head. He has a great knife. It's ours now. We also take shotgun bullets he had. I don't know why Pyramid Head had shotgun shells, but he did. For some reason, they were just chilling in his house. And they're all there. But we actually need the great knife for later, because while it is slow, it is an insanely powerful weapon that is going to be quite nice for us. Here we go. As well, we're going to be hitting the one RNG puzzle of the game that is exclusive to hard mode. I think there actually is a table of doing this, but I'm not really good at finding it. Okay, let's see. Okay, where are we? Oh, wow, that was really lucky. One turn to the left. That was incredibly lucky. That's really good. There could be many different combinations of this, but we got it like second try. That is incredibly nice. Also, Maria's back. Sorry, Parking Lot is back. Parking Lot has returned, and it is quite nice. Formatting. Don't do that. Now we're good to go. Alright, so with Parking Lot back, and we have gotten the formatting, we can now open up these wires. I always think it's kind of stupid that the Great Knife can't open these, but formatting can. You just have to format these wires. But at least we can now meet up with Parking Lot once again to, I guess, get free parking. Like in Monopoly. When I was a kid, we would always put money in free parking, making the games last forever. Which is obviously the best part of parking lots. So, I guess there's a weird fact about that one. Right now, you noticed earlier in the run, I equipped my pistol and I reloaded the ammo. The reason why is because I need to murder this guy. Pump all 10 shots into him. He should run away. Thank you, sir. I just need him gone without taking too many hits. That was pretty nice. We don't want him there. That guy is annoying. He'll spit on us, and he spits bile, which ain't good. I don't want to get covered in bile. I'm not at a frat house, yeah. So, this way it's much safer. As well, I still want gun bullets because this guy can get in the way sometimes. We got good RNG, so he is not in the way. And now we're going to be approaching the boss fight for the Labyrinth. The Labyrinth is actually really terrifying because if you go the wrong way once, Pyramid Head will stab you. And that's not good. Getting stabbed by Pyramid Head is not good. Right now I'll be fighting a boss called Abstract Daddy. However, as you may have noticed, it's actually too dark for boss fights, so we're not going to do it at all. Abstract Daddy is lame. And we've skipped Abstract Daddy. That was the boss fight. He's done. He's gone. It was too dark for that boss fight. And I mentioned earlier in the run, RNG manipulation time. It is going to be number 5. I'm willing to bet on it. It counts 1 to 6. I pulled number 5, and bada boom, bada bing, and this is called the Blind Counterfeit. There we go. So now we get the key. And it's a 1 in 6 RNG that used to kill a bunch of runs, but now it's much more consistent and nice. So it is there. And with the key, we can now open up the Key of the Persecuted, which finally lets us meet up with our old friend Parking Lot. I know you all missed Parking Lot, and we'll see her again. Parking Lot is right at the end of this hallway, and I'm pretty sure nothing bad happened to her in the 3 minutes we went to go find her. Let's see what happened to Parking Lot. Parking Lot is dead. Say goodbye to Parking Lot again. She gets the double F this time. 2 Fs. 1 for earlier, 1 for now. Poor Parking Lot. She'll never be happy. And now we're hitting the actual next boss fight. So throughout the run, if you've been here the whole time, you've noticed I've mentioned I don't want to die a lot, and I've been grabbing a lot of health kits for a certain boss. Well, chat, meet a certain boss. I think I saved it a bit earlier than that, so we're fine. This is Eddie. And Eddie is probably one of the hardest bosses of hard mode, because he is insanely difficult, and you have to be very careful. While text giving help for a lot of bosses, it does not help with Eddie. You have to fight him straight up. Eddie is a 2-phase boss fight. Phase 1, he is going to be in this room with the Magnum, and he is going to be shooting at you. In the next one, he is going to have his own very special level. I just want to play one comment from Eddie because it's always funny. And also, in Plank only, it's quite fitting.
What are you doing?
It's also a good
What does
question.
it look like? You always busted my balls.
And that's what we're going to do with Eddie right now. Come here, Eddie. Okay, so healing is going to be very specific. I can tank one more hit when the cross comes on the bottom right. But until then, I just want to make sure that I'm manually healing as well. So I'm using an ampule right now for full heal. And you just want to trade hits with him the entire time. I'm walking a little bit closer because shotgun's based on proximity. I want to get right next to Eddie. Also, if you get close enough, he'll try to punch you. He needs to reload. That's a really good fight. We're going to be grabbing some shotgun shells right here. Reload because phase 2 is very important. And I'm actually going to be hopping on my keyboard for the next fight, because I want a very specific area. Anyway, I'm going to hype... Oh, wait, hold on. Ooh, this might be rough. Alright, hold on. I have to play this a bit safer. Let's heal. Alright, come on, Eddie. Let's give me the setup. More. I want to be on this side of him. Heal, please. There we go. So now Eddie is beating his meat. I'm going to be able to unload rounds on him. By having Eddie beat the meat lockers in this here, we can constantly be pumping him full of shotgun bullets and not have to worry about Eddie. Eddie eats a lot of shotgun shells, by the way. The reason why I wanted so much help is because this fight becomes either a trade of bullets, and now Eddie is dead. Say goodbye to Eddie. This is always my favorite response as well.
Eddie? Eddie? I killed a human being.
Yes, James, you've murdered a human being.
A human being.
And then we just leave. Eddie is now dead. Eddie is indeed dead. So he's no longer going to be alive. I always like how James, after pumping him full of shotgun shells, is like, I killed a human being. Yes, that happens. Also, some weird stuff is happening. I guess the death of Eddie caused something to happen on the Silent Hill Lake. There's 3 of them now. What could that be? Also, in hard mode, it's funny because you hit Eddie for 6 minutes with the plank, for plank only. If you're wondering how that looks, it's really weird, and it's funny. And for Eddie, I'll just say it's 4 p.m. if you know what that means. Because that's what it looks like for 6 minutes. That being said, we have about a 1-minute boat ride. I'm holding up right until I see the light, and then when you see the light, you can now just hold forward. If you would like to read anything, feel free to go for it.
Absolutely. This bid war is getting crazy. We have a $5 5 donation from Nico Hart, who says Angry Bork. A $5 2 donation from Hellblazer Hawk, who says sniping that extra cent back for UFO. A $5 donation from I Am Greaser, saying counting with sense didn't seem to work out, so here's 2 butterflies. A $10 donation from Thundaria, who says all you care about is that green knife of yours, and all I care about is dog ending, or Bork. And a $5 donation from Nico Hart, who says even angrier Bork, which means that dog ending is currently winning by $11.19.
It's getting close, and we're getting close to the end of the game. We're not quite there yet. Again, the bid war will be open until I hit that final menu and time is done. Until then, it's going to be open, but we are nearing the end. Just as a heads up, we have 1 more major level in the game, and that is the hotel. And the hotel is going to have some interesting stuff going on with it. The hotel is probably one of my favorite levels to speedrun as well. Alright. We're going to be going into this room, and we are going to be grabbing the fish key. The fish key is going to allow me to get a briefcase later. I'm going to do a little skip, just so I can shoot the piano, because it's funny. Hopefully I didn't need that bullet. Hopefully I didn't.
Did I scare you?
Nah. Well, James says so. Okay, so now it is time for the Out of Bounds. The Out of Bounds glitch is a pretty fun one, because I'm going to be holding the text up, I'm going to remove the loading screen from the top, and now I'm going to be running around to the top of this wall. When you see James' little feetsies, you can do a little bit of a turn, walk slightly forward, walk up, and then there, that is Out of Bounds. From then on, I start moving up right on my keyboard, and then right about this area, I'm going to be holding up. So the reason why this works is because in Silent Hill 2, the loading screen is very weird. Rooms in this game aren't actually next to each other, they're just really far away. So whenever you enter a door, it teleports you. That being said, if you get out of bounds, you could run to these teleportation locations, and you can skip them entirely. This saves up roughly about 30 seconds or so, because normally you would have to get a key, put all your items in an elevator, then do this, and then get all your items back. This way, we don't worry about that, and you get to run into the void, which is quite fun as a setup, and it's really easy to learn. There's 2 variations of that. There is the old Out of Bounds trick, which just has you run straight to it, and then there's that one which has you do the fall through the stairs, which is much faster. And that is the current route that most of the top runners are using. Here we go. As well, we are going to be grabbing more of these music boxes. I did grab one earlier, and we're going to need a total of 3. They're actually based on old I guess fairy tales, or I guess is it fairy tales? Like, you know, Snow White, Little Mermaid, and all that? It's based on that stuff. So if you know those, well, Silent Hill puzzles work out for you. If you don't know them, well, I'm so sorry. Just brute force it. More health, because we're going to need that for the next all bosses. You saw Eddie. The next bosses are harder than Eddie. And Eddie was a tank. Those are actually a really good Eddie fight. But he is a tank. As well, we're going to be opening a delicious, delicious feast that this bar is serving, a can of light bulbs. We all love tasty, tasty light bulbs here. I know every bar I've ever went to, I just order the light bulbs and a gin. Speaking of light bulbs, we are now going to be using the one we found to power this up. Actually, fun glitch first off before I do that. It's too dark to use the bar key, even though I have my flashlight because I glitched it in. You have to use the light bulb if you're wondering, before anyone asks, just because I have the flashlight right now. I'm going to be skipping the paint thinner, because normally you need paint thinner in order to find the random 1 in 19 answer, but I'm willing to bet the answer is going to be open. If I say the magic words, open sesame, it'll open every time. And it'll always work, because it's open this time around. I'm lying to you, though. This is a part of the RNG manipulation. RNG manipulation is going to allow me to do a lot. Also, I'm moving during this, so I can get to this health kit faster. And we're also going to be doing a slight thing here, which is going to be running into the legs of this guy right here. We're running into his legs, we're going to be able to get to the door without any worrying, and then he is going to despawn when I head back. Right now, though, like I mentioned, the answer is going to be open, and I'm willing to bet on it. So E, P, open sesame. It's open, a 1 in 19 chance. This is a part of the RNG manipulation, and that's the last RNG puzzle of the game. Here on out, it's all just basic gameplay. And we're going to be hitting the finale right now. This game has a pretty notable finale, a pretty big one. As well, we're going to have to do this in a different order. The order is Little Mermaid in the center, Cinderella on the left, and Snow White on the right. This is actually really a big trip to people who run any other, like, normal, any percent, and then go to hard mode, because the answer is different. You might accidentally place that differently, and then that doesn't work out for you. We're now going to grab the key to this, and a very important thing to grab, as well as the key that actually spawned out of that. I quick save to get closer to the door, because that's going to be faster, but now we can go up to the top. Also, I forgot a quick save there, so I bumped into the door. And we're going to be going all the way to the special room, where I get the big twist of the game. Now, I don't want to spoil a game from 2001, but I'm going to hit you right now with a major spoiler. But before that, we're going to save the game, because this is where the cutoff for, or not the cutoff, but this is where we're going to be loading back later for our, what's the word? Our incentive. Anyway, ready for the big spoiler, chat? The actual spoiler is that VHS once existed and Blockbuster was once in your life. I'm sorry to horrify you with this information, but it did happen in 2001, and you remember that now. So, now that we're in the ending, we're going to have to take a certain route to get to the final area. We're pretty much going to be backtracking to an extent. As well, that save I made will be loaded back in with either the dog or UFO requirements, and we'll see what happens with that one. We have both, but we'll see what happens. We're going to be going to the first floor, and there's a little glitch you can do with saving the game, but it's going to be faster just to run through it, and skipping that little cutscene. We are now going to be back in the bar, and you notice there's a lot of health kits here. I wonder why there's so many health kits. We should probably take these. There's also going to be a lot of shotgun shells. I wonder why these may be here. Oh, I didn't notice that. Wait, hold on. What the health kit? I have never that's there? I have never noticed that first aid kit. Are you kidding? How long has that been there? Huh. Cool. I've never actually known that. I guess I just found a new strat. Cool. You don't see that every day. That actually really helps too, because the more first aid kits you have, the better it is. Alright. So right now, we're going to be hitting the ending of the game in this final hallway. Then from here on out, it's going to be a boss rush. We have 2 bosses to fight. Well, I should say 3. And we are going to be hitting game saved. Okay, let me actually go back one. And this boss fight is going to be pretty tough. Also, guys, I don't think you know this, but guess who's back? It's Parking Lot.
Stop! Leave her alone! Leave us both the hell alone!
Parking Lot is going to die for the 3rd time once again. We're not going to have triple Fs for Parking Lot, because this is the 3rd time Parking Lot has died. Parking Lot is now dead. Okay. Oh, that's not good. Hold on. 2 things. 1, I need to heal slightly. Let's do 2. 2, I need to actually go into tank controls. This is called tactical tank controls. Alright, I'm also going to be hopping over to keyboard for the finale here. Alright, 1, hard mode. Alright, hold on. Here we go. That's the setup. So, hard mode's a pain. We're going to use the Great Knife to bounce off the wall and double chain the Pyramid Head hits. This is doing twice the damage to dual Pyramid Heads. This is the hardest fight in the game, and without this strat, we would die or take literal minutes. This way is much faster and is about, I think, 7 swings in total. It's a strategy exclusive to hard mode, and that was a perfect fight. An absolutely perfect fight right there, so I'm very happy the way that turned out. But the dual Pyramid Heads aren't the problem. Normally on normal, you would just kind of use the Great Knife to your advantage. On any percent, you don't use the Great Knife. On that one, you have to mandatorily swap the tank, and then you're going to have to get in that corner. The Great Knife bouncing off the wall allows you to get that infinite hit, which is quite nice. And that was a perfect fight, by the way. So I just want to say, boom! That was some good stuff. Okay, one more save, because we still have one more boss fight to go. And now we have a very sweet hallway. We're going to ignore all of it.
Mary?
That being said, if you have any final donations you would like to read, feel free to go for them.
We have 3 big, generous donations. A $16.20 donation from I Am Greaser, who says, good luck with Blind Briefcase, you'll need. An $11.19 donation from Mr. Shasta, who says, donating for UFO to match the dog and UFO ending total, so Ecdysis will show off both, because I just want to set the world on fire, smiling emoji. And an $11.20 donation from Hellblazer Hawk, who says, UFO ending for life, which currently, going into the final boss, means that UFO is winning by $27.40.
We still have a bit of time. We still have a bit of time in this boss fight. However, I want to show something off right now. So, if you run up this, game will force you to stop, but if you strafe up this, James will do like a weird barbershop quartet thing where he goes much, much faster. Okay, so the reason why I grabbed every single health kit in Ampule and everything in the game was because of this right here. Alright, we're going to have the final boss, Maria. Also known as Mary. She is going to spit a lot of moths at us. She's also incredibly fast. I have a nickname for her, which is a, not the nicest reference, but she moves this quickly, and she'll spit out moths at you. As well, you have to make sure that she is never in front of you. Like, you have something in front of you. Because otherwise, she'll grab you like that and try to choke you. You're going to hear a lot of keys mashing right now, because shooting and making sure everything is really nice. This is why I grabbed every single health kit, and this is also why my estimate is as high as it is. Okay, Great Knife, please. Please swing. Oh, I missed barely. Okay. And you also have to time the swing with how fast she's going. I missed that one, that's okay. Let's heal. We'll get a swing right now. Good meaty swing. We want these. Getting the Great Knife hits are ideal. They'll do way more damage than anything else. Shotgun Blast are nice, and the second most reliable one. I got off my groove. Let's get back on groove. Please hit. No, not the moths. You're going to be getting a lot of moths, by the way, here. And you're going to hear me mashing my keyboard during that. Ooh, that's bad positioning. I have to be careful here. Alright, let's swap off. There's the grab. There is a safer boss strat, which if I run out of health, I will do, but the faster way is going to be going this way. And generally, you want the bed in front of you, so she won't do anything. Good hit right there. Okay, let's retreat. Oh, well, she only stopped me, so that's fine. Okay. Oh, you can also see I'm doing manual quick hotkey heals, because it's going to be safer for me. Good hit, meaty ones. You want to make sure you're constantly getting these meaty hits. The closer she is, and if she's attacking, you're going to do more damage. As well, this funny enough isn't parking lot, because we're getting the parking lot ending. Ooh, that's a good one. Every time you see a big slash on Mary here, she is going to be eating a ton of damage, which is what we want. As well, every now and again, if you're worried, you can get a shotgun blast. Centering around this bed is ideal. Alright, this is good. Oh my god, it canceled my swing right at the end. The old route was just shotgun her until she dies. Because of this. Funny enough, if you run out of ammo and have nothing, you can actually run around the room for 10 minutes and also kill her. But that's not ideal. Alright, that's good. And then we're going to go here. Up front the choke. Oh god. Ah, she got the choke. There's a lot of choking in this run. She loves doing it. Alright, get some shotgun blasts because she's a bit far. Weirdly enough as well, the hunting rifle's not nice even with the range, just because the shotgun will always be better regardless. Also, we should probably just run around for a little bit to avoid the moths. Moth RNG is the worst you could possibly get. Oh, we're on moths? Are you kidding me? That's fine. Mary, please, think of the children. Okay. And good hit. Oh my god, she juked me. Mary, that's not very polite. But yeah, You see, a lot of people think, oh, we don't want to do bad things to our wife, and then you play hard mode, and then you realize maybe James had the right idea the entire game. For those of you who know the story, you'll get that a lot more than those who don't. Alright, this should be a hit. Right about there. Got a hit. Alright, that's the final boss, and a big, great knife swing for a great run. Time will end when we have the final screen on. Also, we get the parking lot ending. You end up with parking lot. She's finally alive. She gets a happy ending. Although she gets told at the end of this to do something about that cough because she is now getting sick and it's sad. We're gonna skip it. And now we are time. I got a 51:24. World records of 48, by the way. So that's 3 minutes off world record with the additional cutscenes and stuff I've played for you. That's a really good time, not gonna lie. That was way better than I thought it would be. If you're wondering, the entire final boss is based on how Parking Lot performs. If she's rough, that's not good. If she's not rough, very good. I got world record on an accident because I had the best fight I ever had on her on Saturday, and that was kind of insane. That being said, I do want to say a quick thank you everyone for watching some Silent Hill 2. I always love showing this game off, and this is really the first, this is the couple first times I'm able to show off hard mode like this. It's been gaining a lot of traction, so I do want to say thank you for having me, ESA, for this one. And if you like horror games, I do a lot of spooky stuff. I do 69 different horror games because I love the genre. That being said, though, Froob, what is our grand decision?
The ending that you will be showing off, winning with $127.47 over $100.07, is UFO.
Ooh! UFO?
UFO.
I never get UFO. That's trip. Wait a minute. I never get to show off UFO. Alright, so... right now we're going to be going back to that save we made. I loaded it earlier. And... hey, it's Final Redemption. I didn't get to do UFO when I did this last time during Marathon. Now I get to do it. Anyway, you ready for the UFO ending? Also, let me just do this for, I don't want my tank controls right now. No one likes tank controls. Okay. Here we go. It is now time for the UFO ending. Sorry, who are you? Have you seen a little girl around here? Short, black hair? What are you talking about? Anyway, listen. Have you seen my wife? Her name's Mary. Ah! That's not the hands. And then they just zoom away, and we get the... probably one of my favorite songs in the game. The UFO is the canon ending as well. What do you think about it? Because it works with the Silent Hill 1 UFO ending. I don't know if Silent Hill 3 has a UFO incentive, but that does have a UFO ending as well, which is pretty fun. And that was the UFO ending. I like both. I like Dog and UFO. I like showing them off differently. I haven't gotten to UFO in a while, so it was a fun time. Hope you all enjoyed the UFO ending. It did win the bid war. So, that being said, I do want to say once again, thank you for having me. Froob, it was a good time doing the run with you.
Thank you very much for the really entertaining run and the amazing bid war.
Yeah, it was a fun time. I know later this week I'll be back with a game called Night Trap, which is horribly campy, and I am excited to do that one. But up next we have Juho, Juhorse, who does some more Silent Hill games, which is pretty quite fun. So, hope you all have a great time, and thank you for watching.